Hello and welcome to the Bloom and Beyond podcast. In the last few episodes, I've been talking about setting intentions for the year and building habits. As much as we talk about fresh starts and new habits in January, I also want to recognize the reality of this season. January can feel like a letdown. The holidays are over, the decorations come down, the schedules loosen, and the sense of excitement and anticipation quietly fades. For many people, January doesn't feel like a fresh start at all. It feels like a long pause, one that stretches on longer than expected. There's still a lot of winter ahead, but the momentum is gone. And emotionally, that can feel deflating. January often feels like the longest month of the year, not because it has more days, but because of how it feels to move through it. The days can blur together, motivation can drop, energy can feel low before the year has even really begun. And if you live somewhere like I do in the Pacific Northwest, that feeling can be even more pronounced. This part of the country is incredibly beautiful. The forests, the water, the mountains. But winter here often means weeks of gray skies, short days, and very little direct sunlight. Even when it isn't raining, it can still feel dark. That lack of light matters more than many people realize. We often think of mood as something purely emotional or psychological, but it's also deeply connected to our environment, especially light. And this is where seasonal affective disorder comes in. Seasonal affective disorder is a form of depression that follows a seasonal pattern, most commonly showing up in late fall and winter. It's closely linked to reduced sunlight and changes in daily rhythms, and it doesn't always look the way that people expect. It's not always extreme sadness. It's not always obvious depression. For many people, it's quieter than that. It might look like feeling unusually tired or sluggish throughout the day, struggling to get motivated even for things that you usually enjoy, sleeping more but still feeling exhausted, wanting comfort foods or carbs more than usual, feeling emotionally flat or disconnected, pulling back socially without meaning to, or feeling irritable, foggy, or overwhelmed. Because these symptoms build gradually, people often dismiss them. They tell themselves they're just tired, or out of routine, or not trying hard enough. But when these changes show up every winter or linger on for weeks, it's worth paying attention to. January tends to intensify this experience. The structure and stimulation of the holidays disappear, but winter isn't over. The days are still short, the light is still limited, and emotionally, it can feel like you're stuck waiting for something to shift. This is why January can feel like 100 days packed into 1 month. Recognizing seasonal affective disorder starts with noticing patterns over time. So ask yourself, do my mood and energy drop consistently during the winter months? Do I feel noticeably better when days get longer in the spring? Does cloudy or dark weather affect my motivation or emotional state? If the answer is yes, this isn't a personal flaw. It's a biological and environmental response. And the good news is there are ways to support yourself through this season. One of the most effective tools for seasonal affective disorder is intentional light exposure. So this might mean spending time outdoors even during the daylight hours when it's cloudy, sitting near windows while working or resting, opening blinds earlier in the day, or maybe using a clinically recommended light therapy lamp in the morning. Light plays a powerful role in regulating mood, energy, and sleep. And for many people, even small increases in light exposure can make a noticeable difference over time. Movement is another important support, especially earlier in the day. This doesn't need to be intense or structured exercise because gentle movement counts. Walking, stretching, or just getting outside when possible. Movement helps reinforce daily rhythms, and it can improve mood and focus during the darker months. Routine matters more in winter than we often realize. So when the days are short and dark, having consistent anchor points like waking up at the same time, eating regular meals, creating that simple daily structure, these can all help reduce that sense of drifting or stagnation. And connection matters too, but in realistic, sustainable ways. Winter isn't always a season for packed calendars or constant socializing, and that's okay. But regular check-ins, small plans, or ongoing connection with one or two people can help prevent isolation from quietly building. And it's important to say this clearly. If winter depression feels heavy, persistent, or overwhelming, reaching out for professional support is not an overreaction. Seasonal affective disorder is real. Therapy, medical support, or a combination of approaches can be incredibly helpful and for many people, life-changing. So if you're feeling like you need to seek support, please talk to your medical doctor. Living in places like the Pacific Northwest means learning how to work with the seasons instead of fighting them. Winter doesn't need to be forced into productivity or positivity. Sometimes it's about recognizing that lower energy, slower pace, and extra support are normal responses to those darker months. If January feels like a letdown for you, if it feels long, heavy, or just emotionally dull, it may not be a mindset issue. It may simply be winter. And understanding that can be the first step toward taking better care of yourself until all that light returns. Thank you for listening. And if you enjoyed this episode, please hit the like button to build our community. See you next time on Bloom and Beyond.